In the ancient hills of Carmel, where the wind whispers secrets through olive groves, lived a woman named Abigail. Her beauty was renowned, but it was her grace and wisdom that truly set her apart. She was married to Nabal, a man whose wealth was matched only by his arrogance and harsh temper. While his storehouses overflowed, his heart was a barren, prideful place. It was the season of sheep shearing, a time meant for celebration and sharing. Nearby, in the wilderness, lived David and his band of loyal men. They were outcasts, yes, but they had been a wall of protection for Nabal's shepherds, guarding them from raiders and ensuring not a single sheep was lost. With the festivities beginning, David sent messengers to Nabal, carrying words of peace. He simply asked for a share of the feast, a small gesture of kindness for the protection his men had provided. But Nabal, puffed up with his own importance, sneered at the request. "Who is this David?" he scoffed. "Some runaway servant? Why should I give my bread, my water, and my meat to men I don't even know?" His words were like sparks on dry tinder. When the messengers returned and told David of Nabal's insult, his patience shattered. An inferno of rage consumed him. "Strap on your swords," he commanded his men. 400 warriors, their hearts burning with indignation, set out with David to wipe Nabal and his entire household from the face of the earth. Vengeance was their guide, and destruction their destination. Back at Nabal's estate, panic spread like wildfire. The servants knew their master's folly had sealed their doom. One brave servant, knowing disaster was imminent, ran to Abigail. He recounted Nabal's foolish and insulting words and warned her that David's wrath was coming for them all. He pleaded with her, "Please, think of something, for evil is determined against our master and all his household." Did Abigail despair? Did she flee? No. Without a moment's hesitation, she sprang into action. This was not a time for blame, but for courageous intervention. She quickly gathered a generous offering: 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs. It was a feast of peace, a counter-offering to her husband's stinginess. She loaded everything onto donkeys and, without telling Nabal, set out to meet the advancing army. She rode out with resolve, a lone woman on a mission to stand between a fool's pride and a warrior's fury. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the hills, she saw them. David and his men, a river of steel and anger descending the path toward her. The dust kicked up by their marching feet seemed to carry the scent of coming bloodshed. Their faces were grim, their eyes fixed on the vengeance ahead. Anyone else would have turned back in terror. But Abigail did not. She quickly dismounted her donkey and fell to the ground before David, bowing her face to the earth. Her voice trembled, but her words were steady and filled with a profound humility. "On me, my lord, on me let this iniquity be," she began. "Please let your maidservant speak and listen to the words of your maidservant." She took the blame upon herself, not because she was guilty, but to absorb the initial shock of David's anger. She skillfully painted a picture of her husband, Nabal, as a fool whose name literally meant folly, urging David not to take his insults to heart. But she didn't stop there. With incredible wisdom, she shifted David's focus from his personal honor to his divine destiny. "The Lord has restrained you today from coming to bloodshed and from avenging yourself with your own hand," she said. She reminded him that God had promised to make him king over Israel. "When the Lord has done for my Lord every good thing he has promised, this will be no grief to you, nor offense of heart to my Lord, either that you have shed blood without cause, or that my Lord has avenged himself." Her words were like cool water on the fire of his rage. She wasn't just begging for her life, she was protecting his future, reminding him that a king's hands must not be stained with the blood of needless revenge. David was stunned. He stood there, surrounded by his armed men, and looked down at this brave, wise woman. The fury drained from his face, replaced by awe and relief. He saw the truth in her words. She hadn't just saved her household, she had saved him from himself, from making a terrible mistake that would have haunted his conscience and his reign. "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who sent you this day to meet me," David exclaimed. "And blessed is your advice, and blessed are you, because you have kept me this day from coming to bloodshed." He accepted her gift and sent her away in peace. The swords were sheathed. The march of vengeance was halted. A war was stopped, not by a clash of armies, but by the quiet courage and profound wisdom of one woman. Abigail returned home, her heart filled not with pride, but with quiet relief. She found Nabal feasting like a king, completely oblivious to the doom he had so narrowly escaped. He was drunk and merry, so she wisely waited until morning to tell him what she had done. When she recounted how she had intervened and turned away David's wrath, the reality of his close brush with death struck him. The scriptures say his heart died within him, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, Nabal died, brought down not by David's sword, but by the weight of his own foolish pride. When David heard the news, he praised God for delivering justice and for using Abigail to keep him from sin. He remembered her courage, her grace, and her wisdom. He realized that a woman of such character was a rare treasure. So he sent messengers to Abigail, asking her to become his wife. With the same humility she had shown on the dusty road, she accepted. The humble servant who had knelt to save her people now rose to become a queen. Abigail's story is a powerful testament to the fact that true strength is not always found in a raised sword or a loud command. Sometimes the greatest courage is found in a humble heart, a wise word, and a willingness to stand in the gap for peace. She teaches us that wisdom can disarm rage and that humility can achieve what force never could. She proved that one person, acting with courage and faith, can indeed change the course of history, turning wrath into redemption and preventing a war before it ever begins. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories of faith and courage. We'll see you in the next video.